Hello everybody, my name is Niku and welcome to the Trading Setup channel. Markets never stand still, they change speed, structure and behavior, which is why old approaches stop delivering the expected outcome. To work confidently, you must adapt, not through emotions, but through understanding what is really happening within the movement. Today I will break down a strategy based on market dynamics without unnecessary tools. If you stay until the end, you'll understand why this combination works in current conditions and how to use it without rush or guesswork. First, an important thing. I created a separate resource where I collected materials that will help you develop systematically. It contains setups, real case studies, tool configuration guides, and risk calculation models that help maintain control even during unstable periods. All the content is completely free, but I update pin posts regularly, adding observations, tables, and new algorithms. So I recommend following the link below this video and downloading the materials while they are still available. Now, let's get to trading. Okay, so for today's video, I'm going to show you guys a different way of using the stochastic. We're going to have a look at this and I'm going to show you a way that you've probably never seen it used before. And we're going to be trading today with two indicators. We're going to add them to our chart now. By the way, we're going to set our candle period to 30 seconds and we're going to do an expiry trade, expiry time of 2 minutes. So we're going to add, the first indicator we're going to add is a moving average. That's added to my chart. So I'm just going to do some changes. We're going to make change the period to 50. And then the style, I'm just going to make it a little bit thicker. You do not need to change the style. I just like doing this. But this is not necessary as long as you set your SMA period to 50. And we're going to hit save. And there's our moving average. Now, if we look at the moving average and we look at the way that price behaves, we can see that there's a lot of pullbacks close to the moving average. So once price goes into a trend, we can see that the pullbacks are quite often on or very near to the moving average there. And the same is true for when price is ranging in a downwards direction. We can see there's a decent range forming and we can see those hits there. When price is moving a lot, when it's very volatile and we have a lot of sideways movement like this is not a clear direction, then we start seeing price alternating between this. And once you start noticing this, we are definitely going to skip. This is not an area where you're going to be looking for entries with today's strategy. We're going to be looking for areas where price is clearly moving in a specific direction. And this has been going up for a while. No, there's a downtrend. Okay, so we can see that when price is moving downwards, quite often it will get on or very close to the moving average before it's heading down again. So that's the first part of our strategy. That's going to be how we find our entries, how we spot areas where we are going to be looking for trades. Next up, we're going to add our stochastic oscillator. This is set to a period of 1433, but we're going to make a visual change to this that's going to be different from what you're probably used to. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the color. I'm going to make this a little bit thicker and a little bit more pertinent. Then I'm going to do this. I'm going to set this to 0 because I kind of want to ignore it. In fact, I think we can switch it off. Great. So I'm going to switch off the oversold area. We're not going to be displaying that. And then the overbought area, I'm going to change to 50. Now, if we look at the stochastic, we see that we now have a single line, and when we have the stochastic oscillating either above or below the 50 line. Remember, the stochastic oscillator moves between values of 0 and 100, so 50 is smack dab in the middle. What we're going to do now is we're going to look for areas where price retreats back to the moving average, just above or just below, and then we're going to look for areas where the momentum swings. So we want to see the stochastic dip below 50, and then we want to see it push back out again. Once it pushes out, we are simply going to go in the direction and we're going to do a buy trade like this, and we're going to do the exact opposite for sell trades. Now that we understand what we're looking for, it's time to hunt some trades. Okay, we're just going to start going through the list of assets and see if we can find any assets that meet our entry criteria. So first thing we're going to look at is whether an asset is ranging or moving in a trend. We're going to look for we want to find one that's currently moving in a trend, and then once we find that, then we'll look at a perfect opportunity. There's the sell. We had the pullback to the 50 area. Price turned back downwards. My stochastic did go above the 50 line, and as I switched over to this asset, we saw the stochastic breakthrough. So on this candle here, we had the stochastic cross back down again, and this is what we want. We were quite lucky with this entry. This is what we're looking for, so we're just gonna have to wait it out. We took our trade at the best time possible, and yeah, we have to wait for the timer to run out and see what happens. We are almost at the halfway mark. That's what we want to see. Beautiful red candles. Want to see a lot of red coming through now. There we go. 1 minute left on this trade. It is hitting some support, so there is a chance that it might push back upwards, although I don't think it's going to push back all the way before our timer runs out. We should have some leeway left before that happens. But all we can do is wait and see. While this is open, let's add this to our hotbar there. Let's see if we can find something else in the meantime. We'll come back to this trade before it closes. It looks like price is going into a range here, so I'm not going to be interested in that. And here's another asset. Let's add that as well. Got a few seconds left on this trade. Let's go back to it. It pushed up a little bit, but our trade is not in danger. There we go. Successful trade. Beautiful setup, and we found this rather quick. I can remove this now. Let's have a look quickly at Euro half. This is looking like a decent, might give us a decent setup. Might take a few minutes to do that though. So we'll go back to that in a few minutes, or in a minute or two. So the reason why we can use the stochastic like this is that people often forget that the stochastic is a momentum indicator. So if you've seen my videos on the RSI, the way I use the RSI, you will notice that this is actually quite similar. It's not the exact same way because they are two different indicators, but it is very similar to the way that I use the RSI as well. Completely ignoring the overbought and oversold areas, or the traditional overbought and oversold areas. When I draw the line in the middle like this, because the stochastic is at its core a momentum indicator, I can tell that while the stochastic is above the 50 line, we have bullish momentum, and while it is below the 50 line, we have bearish momentum. It's that simple. There's no reason to make things complicated. This is currently moving in. This is not nice movement. This is not a well-established trend. So even though price did come down a bit and it looks like it's going to be bouncing, this is not an asset I will take a trade of, because we are in a downwards trend, made one sharp move upwards, and yeah, if we look at what the movement looks like, this is not a decent trend at the moment. This is just an upwards move. It's not an upwards trend. Okay, a lot of people seem to get confused. I see so many people calling this a trend. This is not a trend. A trend looks like this. This is what a trend looks like. We can see higher highs, higher lows forming constantly for a while. This is what a bearish trend looks like: higher lows, higher lows. But this is just one solid upwards move. We're not seeing highs, we're not seeing lows. So this is technically a low, and then this is the next one. So this is not really a trend. Be careful of that. Make sure that you learn to distinguish between a trend and a single move. This is a single move. This is definitely not a trend. Okay, so we're looking for an asset that is trending. This is what a trend looks like. We can see it clearly. Price is moving upwards. Yes, there's pullbacks, but I can clearly see higher lows. I can clearly see higher highs. Overall, yes, it went into a little bit of a range there, but this is a bullish trend. This is the type of movements that we are looking for this strategy specifically. Okay, so this very dangerous to call this a trend. I don't think we're going to get an entry on this asset. This looks like a beginning of a trend. It's not there yet, but we should be seeing some pullbacks. Okay, this as well. So there's two assets already that might give us some potential entries in a few minutes. This asset as well. We were moving upwards, went into a range, and then we continued our way up. So this is still a bullish trend. Not just a single move, but a trend. We have our clear ups and downs, or clear highs and lows, and then we have sideways movements like this. And we've got the stochastic starting to dip below the 50 line. This is what we want to see. Now we want to see price approach the 50 moving average. We want to see it approach, get close. It doesn't need to hit, but it does need to get close. And then we want to see it go upwards again. And then we want to see the stochastic switch back to bullish momentum. I'm going to put a pin on this because this is going to take 2 or 3 minutes to play out. Let's have a look at we might get an entry here. So price is still using the 50 moving average as support. This is the first thing we're looking at, and that's the important thing. And then once the stochastic pulls up out of the or above the 50 line, which if this candle closes green is going to happen on this candle. If this candle closes red, we'll have to wait another candle and see, because we're not breaking through the 50 line on the stochastic. So it's turning downwards. It's actually looking like it's going to make a bearish crossover right now, depending on how this candle closes. There we go, bearish crossover. So this is not giving us an entry. Price is breaking through the 50 moving average, so we're not getting an entry on this. Big push up here. I don't like this because we didn't really get close to the 50 moving average, and by the looks of it, if we get some red candles, this is not going to push back above 50 on the stochastic either. Yeah, we're starting to form bearish crossover on the stochastic. So let's just take it easy and see if we find something else, maybe. Another asset breaking through. Once it starts breaking through like this, you're going to have to wait. It doesn't mean that price is going to be falling from here on. Price can turn around here and continue its way upwards. We don't know. But once it breaks through, you're going to have to kind of wait for a pullback, for it to come back, and then on the next pullback you can maybe find an entry. I will not take a trade now, even if this pushes up just a little bit back to above the 50 line. I'm not going to consider a trade on this because we did break the support. Same with the it did not, it broke through, but it went up again. Your 50 line is never going to be respected perfectly. It's just an area. Sometimes price is going to ignore it, and when this happens, your next trade can be on the next pullback, although we didn't get a pullback close to the 50 moving average in this move, except for this one, and this one broke through again. So rather leave it, but once it starts breaking like this, I will not take buy trades here. If we took a buy trade on this area here, according to our strategy, that would have been the close, so we would have lost this trade. Okay, we're only looking in a bullish move. Price must not break the 50 moving average. Once it does, there's no trade for us on the table there. Another example, it broke through, so even if it comes back down, I'm not going to take a trade on this. I missed an entry here. I wonder if I could still maybe take one. We did miss an entry on this. What a pity. It was a beautiful rejection. Part of me wants to take it, but I missed it, so I should not. Okay, so we do have the beginning of a downwards move here, and we can see that this might give us an entry. There we are. If we see price push closer towards the 50 moving average now, and then turn back down before it breaks, we can see then if the stochastic turns down, we might get an entry on this. This is going to take a minute or two to play out though, so let's see if we can find something else in the meantime while we wait. Okay, this looks like the beginning of a trend, but this is definitely not a bullish trend yet. It's pushing up. This is what I meant earlier. Okay, so even though price is above the 50 moving average now and my stochastic is breaking towards bullish momentum, I am not taking a buy on this because this is not what we are looking for. There we go. Okay, we might get an entry on this. This is going to happen in maybe, if it does, maybe in 2 minutes. No idea if it will. It could from here just keep on straight up all the way here. We don't know what price is going to do. I do know, however, that my entry setups occur in areas like this. Price is approaching the 50 moving average. We have the stochastic pushing through the switching to bearish movement. So if price turns down now, only if it turns downwards, then I know I'm in business. I can get a buy or sell opportunity here. If price breaks through, well, a no trade for us. This is still fine. Price did not break through. It's touching, it's testing, but it isn't breaking yet. And if it pushes through just a little bit and then the next candle pulls back all the way down, that's fine. That's not an issue. But if it stays as like this, so if we get a big red candle, which could happen, we don't know if it will, but if we get a big red candle now, I will consider this just a test of the moving average and that we are still in a downwards movement. If it continues its way up, this asset is dead to me for the next few minutes. Let's see what happens. A few seconds left before this candle closes. Big drop, so we need to continue downwards now. If not, we're not going to get a trade on this. But if we do see some red, price comes back to this area here at least, then we have an entry on our hands. And like I said, we just need to wait to see what happens, because this is what our entries looks like. This is the areas where we find our entries, but we don't know again what price is going to do. I'm not going to take an entry because I think price might reject from the moving average and go downwards, because most of the time I'm going to be wrong if I start guessing. You do not want to guess in this game. Okay, this is being very stubborn at the moment, so let's just look at a few different assets, a few other assets in the meantime. We can check in back to that specific asset in a bit. I'm going to put this on our hotbar. Let's get rid of these because they didn't play out. This might do something for us as well in a few minutes. Okay, so this is definitely not a trend, so we're going to be ignoring this. It's really important to understand that we are only looking for entries in a established trend. Because if you just take these few candles, this looks like a valid entry, and it's not, because we are not in a trend at the moment. Price is moving sideways, big ups and downs. It's still moving sideways. There is no established trend currently on that asset. Again, we have this big move here. Is this the asset we looked at earlier? It kind of looks like it. We have this big move here, but this is not a trend. We are practically going sideways. We have this marked, yeah. It is on our watch list. It will take a few minutes to play out though. Did I change my resolution by accident? Yes, I did. Okay, let's have a look at what this is doing. Okay, so in the end, it broke through beautifully, solidly. I'm not going to be interested in this asset at the moment. It will definitely need to come down way much more now and then only do a retest. This, however, is still, we're still in the game for this one. So we're going to sit on this for a minute. It should take like maybe a minute or 2 minutes. It's 30-second candles, so 2 or 3 candles for us to see what it decides to do. So that's a minute or 2 minutes that we're going to sit and wait. If it does push back upwards from here and we clear this area, we can get the stochastic pushing out above the 50 line. We can go with this buy trade here. I would like to do at least another buy trade before I end this video, although this video is getting long now. I don't want to make it too long, but I also do not want to cut in between a bunch of trades. You guys know that for all my videos I do in one solid move. The trading part, at least we do it one time, because this is how it goes. It's important for me to understand, so that people understand that sometimes you get a bunch of entries and sometimes the market makes you wait. It will happen with any strategy you use, regardless of what that strategy is. You're going to get your busy times, you're going to get your quiet times. They're not going to happen at the same time every day though. Some days are going to be slow and some days are going to be fun for your strategy. So this is how trading goes. Trading is not taking entries every 2 or 3 minutes. It never has. Anybody that's trying to convince you otherwise is, well, either don't know what they're talking about or they're trying to sell you something, I can guarantee you. Trading sometimes is slow, requires patience. When people speak about discipline, this is it. I'm not taking trades, even though I haven't taken a trade for a while. I'm not going to take a trade if it doesn't fit my strategy. If it's not within the parameters of my strategy, I'm not going to take my trade. I'm not going to start taking random trades just because I want to take trades, because I'm impatient. I have the discipline to not click that mouse button when I get bored or when I get impatient. That's the discipline we need. Or that's the discipline we talk about. That's the discipline we all need if you want to make it in trading. This looks like it's going to break through. Okay, so this video is becoming a bit too long now. We got a very nice trade on the beginning of this video. At least we did see what it looks like when assets, or what kind of trades we need to avoid. At least we saw that. What kind of movements we need to avoid. And so yeah, you guys can run with this, get some practice in. As always, whenever you see a new strategy, switch to that demo account, practice it first. Please do not just simply slap this on your real account and start trading, especially if you don't understand it. It's not a magic strategy. There will be losing trades, as there is with any other strategy. You will lose a few trades. Be prepared for that. Run it on demo for a while so that you get an idea of how it goes, how it feels. Run it for a couple of days, because you don't know if the day that you're testing it on is going to be a fast day for that strategy or a slow day. So test it for a while. Test it for a couple of days. See how it goes. Alternatively, what I usually tend to do is I will have my indicators for my normal strategies on my chart when I'm trading, but I'll add the new indicator or the new strategy. I'll add it to my chart and I'll keep an eye on it while I'm trading live, but I won't take trades on it. I'll do paper trading, meaning that I will, if I see something that looks like an entry, I'll mark it on a piece of paper or mark it on a spreadsheet. See whether that trade would have won or lost, and then start building a kind of like a database of how many wins, how many losses am I sure I'm doing this correctly? Do I really understand it? You have to look at all those kind of things as well. But please do not, it doesn't matter where you find a strategy, don't think you found the golden egg or the golden strategy and you're going to slap it on your chart and you're going to start making money. That's almost certainly going to go the opposite way of what you think it's going to, of how you think it's going to go. I can almost guarantee you that. Okay, take your time, take the time to learn, understand the tools you're using. Right, so I think we're going to cut this video here. We did get one good trade. We did see some examples of how not to trade. Unfortunately, the strategy is not playing around at this, or not playing with us at this time. Playing along, that's what I'm looking for. It's not playing along. It does seem to be a bit of a slow day. I'm not finding entries on a bunch of assets giving me close but no real entries. So it does happen. And yes, I think that's it for the trading day, trading for today. If you want a deeper understanding and want to see how these methods work in real time, I have an educational channel with live breakdowns, daily analytics, and practical techniques. We work consistently, analyze real market scenarios, and build the skill of seeing structure rather than the randomness. You can submit a request through the contact under this video. I personally review each one to maintain audience quality and focus. Access in its current form will not remain forever. The project will become closed at a later date. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Here, you'll find breakdowns, practical lessons, and explanations of market patterns that help develop confident, logical, and calm approaches. Each episode is not built on emotion, but on understanding how the market works. If you need a stable foundation, you will find it here. I'll see you guys in the next video, and until then, may the pips be with you.